Oh, fuck no. Yeah, fucking yeah. This fucking meal. Whoop. Oh man, I fucking feel a rush. Bum rush. Go. There we go. Hey. Fucking hell. Ay, ay. Put you over here. Oh my goodness. Fucking. I don't like run around before starting this fucking thing. And Dios mío. Dios mío. Why in the fuck does things collapse and fall? Whatever. Alright, here. Man, oh man. There we go. Cool. Hopefully the other Bluetooths aren't connected. Good, they're not. I hate it when they are. Why is this door open? Hey, Zooks. What you doing, boy? What you doing, buddy? Are these fucking connected? Fuck. Oh. I was wondering if they were or not. The song just wasn't playing. Yeah. Have most of this bowl actually still here from last night. So, just get this bad boy smoked up. Ooh. Bit harsh. Get some of that white out of my eyes. Aye, aye. This fucking meal, man. There we go. Ugh. God damn. Man. Hate that shit. Another day that's also pretty nice and nippy too. Actually, having to bring my leather out again since I haven't worn out in about like 2 weeks. Is this like 59, 60 about? Ugh. It's nice. What about the next 10 days? Is there... Oh, God. Of course, you know, as soon as, like, my weekend starts, that's when things are going to be all nice and hot. Great. Or I guess my little vacation time. That's going to suck. Why couldn't this weather, you know, be during my vacation time? Because this is honestly generally really pleasant. Just a little nippy once I wake up, but once I get the blood flowing, it's all good. What's up, Fluff? What's up, Doggo? Did you find our fly? Oh, I see it too. Get it! Oh, it's above you. It's literally flying above you. There it is. Yeah, get it. Get it! It's still in the same area, dude. Oh my god, that goofball. Silly ass little dog. Burned out. There we go. Anyway, let's see what's going on for the tube. What things that we can look at for loading? YouTube recommended me some of Nini's music. Fucking made a new song. Taiwanese folk metal. Dude, this chick is honestly pretty badass. Like, I've listened to a lot of her music too. Dude, I like her fit. I like whatever she's got wearing right here. I fucking dig it. But she really makes like some really good covers, like some awesome originals. Silly dog. Definitely make sure I have that notified so I can watch that. When is that coming out? The 26th, so I have to wait a few days? No. Damn it. I have to wait like 3 days. Hey, Zukov! Really, dog? Yeah, seriously? What the fuck? Oh my lord. This little thing is just straight up like this running around catching this one fly, or at least trying to catch this one fly. And he doesn't look like he's having any luck with that at all. It's definitely a smaller like fly, so it's a lot more faster, so he can't quite get to it. Goofy dog. A goofy little pup. I think he finally gave up, now he's over there in the corner. It's like I give up trying to find this fly. Fuck that. Goofy little fluff ball. You know, the fly's over here now. Now it's buzzing around me. And you think I'm gonna be able to get it? He sees it, he's eyeballing it. Silly dog. Hey, what's up? What's up? Take out Republic talking points. I mean, he's basically a walking GOP like buzzword machine. I mean, what else is new with that? He's Crystal Spedica like using. And also, funny enough, no, they're not. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, especially when it comes to things like food stamps and things like that, like, I don't think illegals or immigrants, you know, that aren't citizens can use that. At least not that I'm aware of. Maybe that's the case, but I love that whole point where, you know, being used even though it doesn't really work. So, at least, you know, for me personally, I'd be fine if, you know, like, someone happened to be an immigrant was using it and shit. I don't want to give a fuck. So, save money for Trump, then you wouldn't have to cut it, you know, if that's the case. Because cutting it because illegals use it also hurts Americans, you know, that use it too. You dingbat fucking moron. And did he just close it? He closed himself in the laundry room again. If they don't make a deal, Biden will be blamed. Well, I mean, that's a broken clock right twice a day. Like, I mean, the Republicans are obviously going to blame him for it. Though, realistically, I mean, you know, the real root fault would be the Republicans anyway. You know, and, you know, so it's like, I mean, Biden would still most certainly be the main culpable fault for it, because, you know, he could have, you know, easily have done something to stop. But, I mean, if, you know, if it ends up being the case, then, yeah, like, he sure shit will be blamed. I'll add that if he does make a deal, Biden will be blamed. So, if they don't make a deal, he'll be blamed, and if he does make a deal, he still gets blamed. So, it literally don't matter to him. I love how they just wear the tribalistic fucking, you know, party line bullshit on their sleeve. I mean, sure, it's just like, yeah, blaming Biden is all nice and dandy, but, I mean, like, blaming him no matter what he does is just retarded. It's like, oh, if he does this thing, we'll blame him, but if he does the other thing, we'll still blame him. It's like, well, fuck you then. It's like, you mean nothing. I mean, it's like you're fucking, like, politics is about surface levels, goddamn fucking, like, oil and water. If the case stops, vote for Miami. Oh, less than that, vote for Miami next year. Well, so, I mean, there wouldn't really be much of a reason for it right now anyway. So, I mean, honestly, especially at this point, I mean, it's like, unless he actually were to do something about this and actually, like, prevent this whole, that thing, or whatever the fuck, then, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, I could see maybe at least America being like, alright, you know, it might not be the worst ever or some shit, but, I mean, that's, like, the most lowest fucking bar to have. Left wing cave in, right wing make a deal. If decisions about what type of criticism he wants. I mean, he would rather make a deal because, like, you know, like, because the Democrats always, you know, stiff fucking progressives or anyone from the left anyway, so I think we already kind of know where that outcome's going. I know how Ballsy made $1 trillion coin. I mean, might as well. I mean, I would. And evoke the 14th. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, if there was actually a thing called fucking, you know, like, you know, some balls or backbone that Biden had, he would do that. Because it shouldn't really be fucking, like, it's one of those things where it should be like, you know, you should be able to have an easy W and be able to also kind of quote-unquote welcome the hatred, so to speak, of these motherfuckers and be able to use that against them, but like, unfortunately not. I live a world where right wingers being binaries. Dude, I mean, like, that's kind of the funny thing about conservatism, is that I kind of wish that their weird, broken reality was actually reality. Because the world would be better. Like, it'd be more dope, it'd be more cooler. Like, it'd actually legit be better off as a world, if that was the case, funny enough, but... Nope. Social spine sounds base as hell. It honestly kind of does. Like, even if, like, it wasn't even, like, that much, it feels like the equivalent of, like, some sort of, like, like, left social democrat progressive type in Norway or some shit leading that country or some shit like that. Yeah, I'd totally be fine with that, even. I'd just be like, oh, hell yeah, dude, sweet. Like, I mean, socialist Biden, cool. I even accept weird gaps and platitudes then. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, that's kind of like what, like, platitudes and gaps were for, like, a time for a lot of politicians. It was just kind of like, little flubs or little, like, just funny moments or some shit. Or just, like, little, moments of just humanity or some shit, basically. Like, I mean, that's what it, like, at least in my opinion, is what it should be in shit. At least especially for the gaps aspect of it. Like, in a way, I kind of want a politician to have some gaps every now and then. Even if I don't like them, honestly. Because it at least adds a little sense of, like, humanity when there isn't, in these motherfuckers. So, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, because, like, the Bush, like, shoe dodge, right? Like, that's a gaffe, but was a genuine, like, goddamn son, Neo from the Matrix just, like, harnessed, like, Bush's energy for that. It's like, whoa. And it, like, is one of the rare-ass times where, like, it had a shred and, like, an atomic particle of humanity in Bush there for a second. An atomic particle worth. So, I mean, just saying. I mean, if I'm somehow wrong on that, then make me eat a shoe. I don't know. By the way, that doesn't mean that I actually like him or anything, by the way. I like the gaps, not the person. Just to clarify, at least. I mean, because, it's the same thing for Trump, too. Like, I like his gaps. I find all the gaps, throughout his presidency. I mean, even now, still, pretty funny. But, I will admit, it's not, like, to the same level or energy as it used to, but, hey. He makes a shitload of gaps all the time. Obviously, I hate the fucker. But... still funny. Adds over 40 megastructures and many theoretically possible or imagined in books or shows for the past. That's pretty cool. My favorite so far is the suck. The suck. I like it. Turns a gas giant into a giant refinery. Damn. In a sense, I could see that actually theoretically being possible, but it would just... it would just take fucking, like, not just, like, forever to even build, but I'd assume also forever to even, like, harvest. For about 40 years, it didn't leave a small barren world. I guess I could probably see ramifications from that, because, hypothetically, let's say we did that to, like, Jupiter or something, right? Like, Jupiter is actually legit, like, super important in our solar system for where it sits and shit. Because, like, when it comes to things like meteors or asteroids that could literally obliterate Earth, like, Jupiter dead-ass unironically protects us from shit like that. So, I'd imagine if we, like, for example, were to, like, suck up all the gases and leave, like, just a barren little core left of what was Jupiter and shit, that would certainly change the mass of the planet, and thus from there, like, you know, change how it, you know, like operates, so to speak, you know, as a planet and what it does. Yeah, at least with the rest of the planets in the solar system and shit. Thus, I imagine that would probably also, like, change, you know, its orbit a little bit, and even maybe, like, you know, the orbits of other planets, because now its gravitational pull is not having an impact on others, so... If that ever ends up being a thing, don't do it on our own planets, like, because that might have some really bad outcomes. Besides, Jupiter looks cool to look at for the telescope. If you look at the night sky, the moon's out right now, like kind of waxing, and Jupiter's kind of sitting like kind of above it a little bit. So if you look out at night and see the moon, you'll see Jupiter next to it, kind of like it's more like kind of top left corner a little bit. I mean, it's pretty big and bright. It's kind of hard to miss. Another fun one's the Typo Star Dyson Sphere, which I haven't built personally. But my income rival has. Total entry income is plus 24k. Jesus. Crystal Megabore from Molten Worlds gives 200 mineral and 50 rare crystal income per month for 100 years. Damn. So this type of shit at least does generally kind of help for a while, you know, when playing the game. But I mean, considering obviously that it's, at least to a certain extent, finite, I mean, at a certain point, eventually all, you know, because the income is a lot of it right now, eventually. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, in a way, you kind of have to, like, you know, still use your resources sparingly with it. I mean, but at least it does give you an opportunity, at least for a time, to be a little bit more liberal with your usage of it, but, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean to, like, you know, just consistently keep that up, because you wouldn't be able to, necessarily. Unless you already had a pretty high income, or at least a decent, like, steady rate, you know, of increase on those type of minerals and shit. Or, you know, just the resources in general. The most ridiculous one I've seen is the glue, which glues back together shattered and broken worlds. That one does seem overtly ridiculous, because I don't even know how that would even work. That's a weird happiness debuff on a reformed world. Huh. I mean, either way, I mean, that one sounds just so absurd, it sounds like damn near comical. To be fair, it's marketed as a super endgame magic tech. Huh. So kind of like a pseudo sci-fi magic type of thing. Dark energy shit. Ah. Well, I mean, dark energy is a resource in the game, so makes sense. Just doing like crazy fucking like dark energy harvesting to the point where it basically just sounds magical, but hey. I mean, it's one way to, you know, at least excuse it, you know, for how it works. Which comes after Dark Magic, which really pisses off all umpires, because that's one step ahead of them. Oh, damn. So you can kind of like actually get a one-up on them. And become even more advanced than a Fallen Emperor. That's pretty dope. And this is actually just a little side thing, but I kind of hate how, like, the Fallen Empires and Star Wars literally all look the goddamn same aesthetically. Like, those weird little, like, fucking, like, flat fucking ships or whatever the fuck. It's just like, can they all at least look different from each other? Because I just kind of find that a little odd that they, for some reason, would all just look identical aesthetically. You know, all in all. Mod added specific ships for each Fallen Empire ethic. Oh, so the mod actually adds a variety for them too. Well, that's at least good. Yeah, because the vanilla version of the game, they all are the same. Like, if you look at their ships and everything, they're just all the same. Which, to me, is a little, like, just kind of odd. Like, I don't mind the style itself, but can there at least just be different types of styles to kind of add a little extra, like, character to the Fallen Empires outside of them just looking goddamn near like photocopies, besides, like, what fanatic, like, ethos they are? I mean, I'll at least add that, you know, with regular ships and everything else, at least in the vanilla game, like, there's at least, like, enough, variety, you know, with it, even if it is somewhat limited, because, I mean, there's just, like, different, you know, ways you can build the ships, and also, you know, with, like, different, mods, or at least with different, like, modular, you know, sections of the ship. And then also, like, I mean, with the color schemes, too, like, depending on what color schemes you use for the Empire, I mean, that also changes the color of the ships, so... Like, honestly, if anything, I mean, at least there's, like, legitimately some, like, fucking variety going on with that. But Fallen Empires are, like, the only ones that don't. I guess literally just outside of fucking color schemes. Rival Skynet, literally in the map. Earth had a robot takeover and it's called itself Skynet. That has to be... Is that, like, a part of the vanilla game or the mod? Because if that's part of the vanilla game, that is just obviously, like, an Easter egg. That just screams Easter egg to me. I've heard rumors that they add a robot takeover to pre-FTLs like Hive Minds. Well, yeah, I know that happens. I've seen that happen before in some of my games. Like, I'll be checking out, like, a modern early space age pre-FTL, then all of a sudden they fucking take over, to, like, you know, they, like, robots, you know, or, like, machines take over the entire planet, and then they kind of usurp it. It doesn't really necessarily, you know, advance them, but it does at least, you know, like, because usually it keeps it in the same, like, age, but it just changes, like, who's, like, running things, and at that point, it basically be machines. There's been one time, actually, I don't know how rare it is, but there's one time where I had a nuclear, like, modern, like, before the early space age, like, pre-FTL nuke itself, the machines rise from that, like, you know, like a decade or so later. Or, like, machines, you know, eventually kind of, like, took over because they were still, like, operational and able to, like, you know, reconstruct themselves and shit like that. Almost kind of like some WALL-E shit, I guess, like, where the robots are the only thing on Earth and just running shit. Well, I mean, outside the fact that it's just, instead of one robot, it's, you know, like a civilization of it, basically. Which I thought was, like, interesting, but still, nonetheless, pretty cool. Because, I mean, because I don't know how rare that would be. I've seen the pre-FTL organic hive mind take over bronze to industrial age civs, but only robot take over once. Yeah, I've only seen the robot take over twice and the whole hive mind organic thing twice. So, at least in my experience, it seems to be about the same rarity, you know, but just like how it ends up happening seems to vary though. And I don't know, like, you know, which like outcomes are more rare than others when it comes to that type of shit. Because, like I said, there was only one time where like a Tomb World where, you know, like, you know, a pre-FTL from like the nuclear like modern age before the early space age fucking nuked itself, and then robots took over after that. Like I said, about like a decade or so later. If you get a plague event on a pre-FTL, you're watching it, don't want them to die. Well, I've actually had that happen with my last game that I was playing pretty extensively with. Like, promote the plague, and then second stage will give you a choice to end it early. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because honestly, for me, I was actually trying to help combat it secretly, you know, by kind of like helping, you know, do some research to try to cure it and shit. You could try to cure it and let it. You could try to cure it, the plague will continue. Oh, well. See, well, I guess I made an unfortunate mistake on that one, mainly because, like, at a certain point, you know, eventually everyone died. And eventually just left an empty world that I could land and colonize. And unless they have at least 20 pops, they will die. Ah. No, it's a bug. Oh, it's a bug? Oh, well, that kinda sucks. The devs, I said they're working on it. Okay. So basically, you have to kind of unfortunately exacerbate the plague, and then because of that, you know, cure it early. You know, so you have to kind of like fuck them over a little bit to actually save them. I mean, that guy sucks, but whatever. I mean, I guess that's the way to do it. Because the planet that the Pops were on, they only had like 8 because it was a smaller planet. So yeah, you know, like if they got hit at the plague, they definitely would have all been wiped out. But what I did do is that I kind of waited like 100 or so years, and then I just colonized the planet eventually. Just mainly, you know, like, yeah, just basically like made it pretty, you know, easy to at least, you know, have a free planet at that point, I guess. Because also, what I did, like after all that happened, is I kind of slightly terraformed it, because I think it was the Savannah world, so I changed it to like a, you know, temperate continent world. You know, which didn't really take too long to terraform overall. So, because I had a feeling that if I landed there and colonized the place after that plague happened and shit, I had a weird feeling that I probably would have had that spread, you know, to the populace on that planet as well. So I was just like, let me terraform it so I don't have that problem. So, I mean, and never had an issue ever since. Let's try to make save anyone with less than 12 pods is almost worthless, because each month has 34% chance for our pop to die. Damn. Gig Structure Sauce has the ability to build overlapping ring worlds up to 4 in one system. Whoa. That's pretty cool. I can dig it. A square ring world suspends my disbelief, though, and I refuse to use it for that. A square? The angles fuck with my head. Why would... That doesn't even... Yeah, like, I mean, especially gravitationally, like, that just doesn't make sense. You want it to be round because then you can have even distribution of gravity. You know, like, when it comes to the gravitational pull of the sun, you know, pulling it. Having it a square gives it choke, or like, you know, weak points, basically, because there's certain parts of the structure that are being pulled more than the other. Like, the very end corner angles of the structure won't be pulled in comparison to the very ends of the structure. If anything, it'll look like this weird, like, gunk. It'll, like, kind of have this weird little, like, thing going on at the end of it. almost like you're looking at like an artillery shell, like, you know, it has a point, but then it kind of like curves. It would almost basically be like that. Giga-ass weird ones, the ones that are theoretically possible. Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, at least it adds like a large variety of shit for people to use, so I can dig that. An AI, unless specifically set as start, doesn't use the weirdest ones. Well, that's good at least. I wouldn't really want the, you know, breaking the lore a little bit, or breaking my story immersion, you know, by having the weird-ass looking fucking megastructures. I'm okay with all the cool big ones and shit, but, and the theoretically possible ones, but not like these fucking weird-ass, like, absurd fucking, like, square worlds, like, square rings. Like, that's... I mean, that just doesn't even really make that much sense. But more... It's just, I guess, like, more power to the nerds that want, you know, to try to make certain things possible. Asteroid artillery placements makes 45 choke points easier to make. So, like with worlds or solar systems that have asteroid belts, you can use you know, you can basically use the asteroids as like artillery. Okay, that is actually pretty legit, I'm not gonna lie. Build artillery into asteroids? Oh, so you just build it into them. Well, honestly, still, that's just as good. Fixed emplacements. Oh. Well, still, that's pretty dope, though. Because, yeah, like, I mean, depending on where, like, a battle happens, you know, those, like, that artillery actually would be very fucking useful. And it kind of adds, like, you know, yeah, like I said, like, choke points. Especially if they, like, enter for a certain area. Like, if there's, like, an entrance, you know, from another system that happens to be, like, right next to something like that, then, oops, it just got fucked. Making attack moons, like kind of like the equivalent of like a Death Star, basically Death Stars. Well, yeah, I mean that's what it sounds like. Equivocal of like some straight up Death Star shit. Damn. That's why I like Paradox Interactive's like community. Like, I mean, there's just a lot of people that, you know, outside of just the base game, you know, can just like really add so much crazy different elements of replayability to the game. Just literally off of like 1 or 2 mods, even if it's just like over aesthetics and shit. Like if you want to have like more flag designs, you know, just for more like story immersion type of stuff. An 80k moon, it's an 800k moon doesn't sound fun to fight yet. That doesn't sound fun to fight, like, at all. Like, period. Cool. I really should have, like, discovered Letharo, like, so much more sooner. This game is really legit, really fucking good. And the vocalist is legit, like, super fucking talented. I mean, if the description I'm reading is correct, the Celestial Forge can in effect print attack moons to fees. The Celestial Forge? I mean, this sounds somewhat referential to, like, some Star Wars lore type of stuff. Celestial Forge, Star Forge. Sounds relatively, similar. Literally a Star Forge rip. That's what I mean, like, the way you just described it, yeah. Looks exactly like it. Oh, well, there you go. So it just literally is basically a Star Forge. I really don't understand why he likes to huddle himself in there. Tagged over 20k alloy income and 90% construction speed boost. Jesus! Yeah, that sounds basically the equivalent of a fucking Starforge. I mean, basically can make, like, endless fleets. I mean, well, I mean, that is the point of Starforge. It's like an automated, like, fucking mega structure, basically, that, you know, could just, like, endlessly produce ships. And, I mean, I mean, I think it literally is said about it, like, at least in Star Wars specifically, that, like, that, who controls the Starforge controls the galaxy, basically. Which honestly implies, like, what the fuck ever happened to the Starforge all this time in Star Wars, you know what I mean? Like, for, like, the Clone Wars era, for the fucking, like, Empire, all this shit, but yet Starforge just, like, did it just, like, blow up, disappear? Like, what happened with it? Because I actually generally don't know. They did say don't turn up the difficulty unless you use other mods to power yourself up. Revan blew it up. Oh, yeah, that's right, Revan did blow it up. Honestly, that fucking... Okay, now I didn't even mention it. Okay, yeah, that's what happened with it. Honestly, I just kind of fucking forgot. Just straight up. I guess that's why the Starforge isn't around anymore. Because wasn't it like some ancient-ass, like, civilization that constructed it, to where it was actually kind of a mystery on who even built it? So, to even recreate it would be fucking nigh impossible, so... Damn, Revan. My G. Each Radican relic that used dark side to power it. Oh yeah, it was the Radicans. Oh yeah, it was right. It was the Radicans that fucking had control over that shit. Man, I'm fucking rusty on this shit. Effectively useless at best to Jedi and a corruption machine at worst. Which explains why obviously Revan did destroy it. Because obviously, I mean, it's, you know, something that, you know, is just, like, pretty much, like, you know, at its core, like, you know, something that's just inherently corruptible. Or corrupting. So I'd imagine that, like, I mean, there could, you know, there would probably be at least, like, a ability to maybe, like, root it out. But I guess considering how much of a fucking megastructure it is, I mean, it'd probably just be nigh impossible. Without having to, like, probably sacrifice a few Jedi to do it or something. Literally use their life essence to try to, like, root it out or something. Like, literally force it out. Because, I mean, if it is a Starforge, after all, I mean, it's feeding off of a sun. So, I mean, it's like, the dark side of powering it and shit isn't really necessarily, like, you know, the only really way to power it. I'd argue building Jedi Temple on top of the Sith Shrine was probably a bad idea. Because, yeah, the Sith, like, that base, like, cements, you know, like, the Sith, you know, like, just pretty much, like, hating you. Like, yeah. Not a good idea. Hence why it eventually did straight up get destroyed. The temple on Coruscant is built on top of an ancient forgotten shrine of the Sith. Yeah, didn't that one at least get at least like in Order 6 didn't it get destroyed? I mean, I will admit, I am rusty on some of this shit, obviously, so. Unicorns used it to meditate down there on his downtime. Well, yeah, because, I mean, that was, you know, like, essentially, he just made it his own personal shrine at that point. The shrine's excavated after 6-6. Oh, okay. So they just made it like an archaeological site to fucking excavate. Which I suppose makes sense. I mean, like, I know at least in the Old Republic they had a whole planet that was like a Sith planet that, yeah, at a certain point eventually just became like an archaeological site. I forget the name of that planet though. I think it was like Korriban, I think, or Korriban. Force from continuing to bring anything found into time. Found to him. Well, yeah. Yeah, Korriban. Yeah, okay. So at least I got it right. It was Korriban. Hey, at least I got that right. Shit's rusty, but hey, I'm able to figure it out. You know, it's come back to me. Could be dog. What's up, little Fluffy? Buying takeaway food stamps. I mean, don't think I'm already kind of aware of that. So why do you think I'm taking advantage of it while I can now? And besides, like, specifically, like, Oregon also has its own, like funding for food stamps too, so it's not like it's like totally gone, so to speak. Though it's still gonna fucking be retarded and shitty and stupid, and the idea that there's like requirements for it is like antithetical to the whole fucking point. Like, the idea is that, oh, you know, someone, even if they are working, can't afford the food, so thus, like, you know, that's literally the point of it. I'm especially gonna come to my house and bitch slap me. Yep. No malarkey, fat. Now listen here, Jack just slaps me. Like, he literally just barges in through my garage door, just like, listen here, fat, just stumbling, you know, like, crashing and everything. Oh, he's over there now. Oh, you're still trying to get that round 2 on the fly? It's over here. Right here. Get it. Did you get it? I can't tell if he got it. Most progressive president of my lifetime, Kyle Kulinski. I mean, did he really... When did he say that? Was that like at the beginning of his administration, or is that like now? Or did he like say that like a few days ago? I mean, when did he say that? A few months ago. Kyle, my dude. I know the bar is low, Kyle, but come on. I mean, let's be real. Come on, dude. Aye. I love how just the standard in the bar in this country is just set so fucking low for things. Dios mío. Dios mío. What's up video if anybody say you take the double or the Obama? I mean, frankly, yeah, maybe he has. But just because he's technically done more doesn't necessarily make him, you know, more progressive. So, I mean, it's not, again, it's not exactly like a fucking, like, you know, high standard or anything. One of his best student loan forgiveness. So that was probably, that was at least prior to the union contract shit, too, that with the railroad workers. That was also prior to that, so... I mean, I think, you know, like, seeing that, at least, you know, at least considering the timeline, I'm assuming it was probably prior to all that shit. And didn't realize how much of a backstabby motherfucker he was. I'm sure, honestly, if you asked him now, I guess maybe he might still say the same thing, but he would add a lot of caveats that, like, this really is not, like, a fucking, like, high bar at all. Which, sadly, it literally isn't. But here, get this last bowl smoked out and then, thinking myself to work. Low. But, anyway. Gonna get myself out to work and all that bullshit, which is not exactly gonna be fun, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do. So, peace out. I'm cool. I should be back around for the next one, so doo-doo.